This is a special one-hour edition of WLOX News at 6. Coastal Crisis.
Welcome back. You're looking at the live shot of the Day 80 well that is still spewing oil into the Gulf. That's why we've assembled a panel of experts to talk about what's next, what we can do now. We have a lot of questions from you, South Mississippi. We want to get to one right now. This one is from Garrett, who wrote, I'm a hard worker and I've been trying to get a job with beach cleanup. I put my name on lists and put it in applications with different groups and have never gotten calls. I keep getting redirected and end up nowhere. If they are hiring locals, it should not be this hard to get on with the beach cleanup. Margaret, I'm going to let you address that.
Right. We understand that frustration as well, and the good news is we've had a lot of people who have come and said we want to work either as workers that are paid for the work we're doing or as volunteers. We have more than 5,000 people, about 5,700 if we include just the vessels of opportunity owners and operators, currently engaged in the effort, either working for BP or our contractors. Right now, we don't have any new openings. We don't have any more need for additional workers. But certainly, we've worked with the WIN operating or job centers in the community, and we will again. We continue to assess our resource needs, and we'll continue to work with local people to try to hire local Mississippi workers, Mississippi residents, and to engage Mississippi businesses as well.
And the Vessels of Opportunity program has changed, and I was glad to see that instead of recreational fishermen making extra money, it's going to be more commercial people who rely on this for their livelihoods.
That's right. We're working very hard to ensure that we have the people that make their living on the water engaged in the process. First of all, they know the area. They tend to be more aware of what they can do and more capable in the waters. They are the ones most impacted. And they're most impacted, and so this is a great opportunity for many of them.
Right.
And we're going to continue to rotate and try to use as many of them as possible.
Good.
And again, back to also just the people working on the beaches, because that's the other thing. We had more than 1,800 people working on the beaches yesterday to clean up the shores. So between the vessels and the workers, we've got a lot of Mississippians employed.
I want to ask Donna Langham from EOC in Jackson County, do you feel like you've seen a lot of people on the beaches cleaning up the tar patties?
We have had a lot of people on the beaches. The different areas of the county, the numbers that came in to me today were somewhere around 400 to 500 people on Jackson County beaches and shorelines today.
Mayor Fillingame, what about you? Do you feel like there's enough in Hancock County?
Yeah, there seems to be enough people on the beach. In fact, there's probably been some times when there was more people on the beach than there were tar patties. So there's been an abundance of people that have been employed, and our issue all along has been not that BP has not thrown a lot of money at this incident, and they really have, and we appreciate that. And they have hired a lot of local people,
yes,
and a lot of people have not been lost in the mix. And our only issue has been with the effectiveness.
You mean with things like the booms or the marshes being protected?
Exactly. There's a lot of people that I feel like would have been a lot more productive. I mean, we all have a vested interest in this process. I mean, we have a vested interest in BP's success with all of the people that they've hired and put on the ground. And I think that a lot of them could be steered in different directions and be more effective and have strategies for some of the areas that we obviously missed even in the last few days. We didn't have strategies to work some of the inland waterways that would have kept some of that oil out of our very sensitive marshes in Hancock County. So we continue to be proactive with it at that level, and they seem to be listening, and I think that we will all reach a common goal here at some point.
Well, one of our viewers, Summer, actually asked a question about the boom. She said, why is it that the booms aren't being checked on a regular basis? Who is in charge of placement and inspection? And why is it that they only put back into place after the oil is already washed ashore or into the marsh grass? What good are they doing, if at all, if no one is making sure they're even serving a purpose? And Commander, was the Coast Guard over where the booms went? Did y'all decide that?
Well, the booms are deployed based on what the requirements are in the area contingency plan to mark sensitive areas, outfalls, and so forth. So the boom is there, and then we've even gone even further to put more boom out, and BP has hired a contractor to make sure it's done.
But haven't we seen with these small booms that the water just goes right over it, that all along we needed ocean booms, and I heard this 2 months ago.
Okay, well, ocean boom, I mean, all boom is, we talked about, it's about skimmers. It's not the same. The ocean boom is a variety of, whether it's 36 inches, 32 inches, 42 inches, and you have to look at the depth of the water, what's there, the anchoring system that's required to keep it in place. And some of the smaller boom, if your normal sea state within the sound is less than 2 foot chop, regular boom could stay there. But this past week, we've had significant seas. It's going to move the boom. It's going to move
But
out of the way.
shouldn't we have just put the biggest boom we had?
Well, that would move too, and then you have to get a bigger boat to go replace it. So, you have to look at what conditions are. Is it ideal? No. Do we have enough of the 42-inch? No. Are we asking for it? Absolutely. And we're trying to move that next level of protection out there, but it's a process.
And because it's unprecedented, it's all just kind of learning as you're going along.
Yes, ma'am. It's critical resources across the board.
Well, we're going to end tonight with April's question or comment. She wrote, "We know all the mistakes, hidden truths, and disappointment and how this oil spew has been handled. We need to know how to move into the future." I think that's an excellent point. Preparations and precautions, and what we need to know to adapt to airborne and Gulf toxins, how it will affect not just our water, but our land and groundwater, freshwater fish. We can handle the truth, she says. We are brilliant, adaptable people, but we need direction, not complaints or finger pointing. Congressman Taylor, I'm going to let you answer that.
No, I'm in agreement. There are going to be a heck of a lot of changes that will come out of this, much better coordination between air assets and what's down on the deck. I mean, every day we're improving the Vessel of Opportunity program. I spent today with Commandant Allen talking about those changes. Great coordination with the National Guard that wasn't there, but even boom. Remember, we are a market-based economy. There has not been a major spill since the Exxon Valdez, so therefore there has not been a market for an improvement in booms. There has not been a market for an improvement in skimmers. There hasn't been a market for satellites or planes that can look at it and determine seaweed from crude oil. There is a market for those things now. In fact, one of the growth industries in America for the next couple of years is going to be responding to this spill.
Absolutely.
We're going to be a heck of a lot better next time. I regret that we weren't ready this time.
Necessity, the mother of invention.
But I could assure you that you had given the commander a fair question, but boom boom technology really hasn't changed in 40 years until the last month, and now it changed in the last month because there was a need for it to change.
Just a few seconds left, Dr. Asper. I want to ask you to reassure us about the resilience of our wonderful waterways and our seafood that we cherish so very much.
Well, you're right. It really is resilient, and as we saw by the many things that returned after Katrina, everything will eventually recover. It's going to take longer time for certain areas than others, but eventually, if we wait long enough and if we love the coast well enough to stay around, it will recover. All right, and we certainly do. And thank you to all of our panel for being here. Our hour has ended. We want to again thank our guests, Congressman Gene Taylor, Commander Merriweather, Miss Laney with VP, Dr. Asper, Mayor Fillingame, and Mr. Langham, and all of you, South Mississippi, for your questions and comments. Please continue to post them on WLOX.com, and we will see you at 10. Have a good night.